Welcome. You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast hosted by Michelle Zellner and Sasha Burscheid. Michelle and Sasha are here to give you information and inspiration to help you live your healthiest, happiest lives. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
There's no countdown, that's right. Greetings. Thank you for tuning in to the Be a Better Being podcast. I am Michelle Zellner, your host, and today is probably one of my favorite versions of our podcast because it is when my dear side host, Sasha, joins me for a little check-in. We call it a sync up. So hello, my friend. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm good. How are you?
I am good as well. Let's see. So this is going to air on October 2nd, which is right around the corner, which is just crazy. We are literally headed into fourth quarter, fall, holidays, all the things. And then 2024 is here. So before we fast forward to all that, I feel like we should do a little recap of our summer because I know there were a lot of things going on with me and you and us together, and then maybe a little preview of what's to come in the next few months. So catch us up. Summer. What are the big things that Sasha has been up to?
I would say my biggest thing that I accomplished this summer would be some back-to-back 50 milers. So that was fun. I got a lot of running in the summer, a lot of time to get out there and meditate while I was on my feet and really just hone in and work on Project Intentional. Those were my biggest things that I did this summer.
Well, and Project Intentional needed attention because, girl, it is going to explode this year. I mean, I can't wait for the little preview. And then when we talk next year for you to tell us about it, because it is going to be, we'll get to that in just a moment. But I mean, the running, you always amaze me. You post, I know you're doing these runs and you post it and you look so fresh and alive after you've done 50 miles, which is, it's a little, it just is a little counterintuitive. So tell us a little more about why you do those races and how you actually do look like, I don't know, more invigorated when you're done than maybe when you got out of bed and rolled to the start line.
Yeah, so this year I would say that the marathon or the ultra marathons that I did, I didn't actually wear music to any of them. So maybe that's why I look invigorated, because it was all just me, myself, and I, and a bunch of prayer. And so maybe that's what got me through it, was all the prayer. But I also started taking some supplements that really helped me and up my game. Also, like during it, I take these, it's sodium, it's called LMNT, which I'm obsessed with. And then I've been taking some essential amino acids. But I would say that, or like I credit all of it is just to that mental fortitude and strength. And then this year was the first time in all of the years that I've never listened to any headphones. So it was just myself, my thoughts, my feelings. So combination of feeling my feelings and thinking it out and praying it all at the same time. It seemed to work for me.
Well, it definitely does. And I think there's so much value to that. Michael Hosking and I talked about that, how we often use things to distract ourselves during exercise because it's hard, it's boring, and I need something to do and divert my attention. And I mean, I do a lot of things without anything. I always have my ear pods in because normally I just want people to leave me alone, and that's a good sign, like don't talk to me. But very often there is nothing playing in those ear pods. It is usually on silent because I think you do get so much deeper into feeling whatever it is, physically or emotionally, what you're doing. And that connection is so powerful. And you do get a lot of thought and a lot of inspiration, ideas, sorting out of maybe some emotions or hard things or whatever it is when you don't have other noise just constantly in your brain. And let's face it, I mean, we live almost every minute with noise coming at us. Like maybe it is nice for, if you've never exercised without noise or distraction, just give it a try. I mean, it really is. It's nice to just be part of your surroundings and part of yourself for a moment.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I didn't travel that much. I did a little bit, but I didn't do that much traveling. I will say that for those of you who are like, how does someone exercise without headphones? I don't know. It wasn't something that I wanted to do, but I found myself every time I would go for a run, something would happen, like the Bluetooth would stop connecting, or I would have charged everything and it would say, battery low. And I was like, there's obviously a reason why I can't connect. So I stopped forcing it and let go. So
I feel like you did have a lighter load of a schedule this summer than in the past, and maybe that's been part of the feeling more balanced and more time and attention for yourself versus other things. I know Lit, we kind of revamped and let go of the big Lit Fest, and I know that was a huge weight off your shoulders. And I think a lot of your, just the things that you overthink or you have to devote your time and attention to, you've really gotten good at determining what is worth it and what's not. So I will say, from an outsider watching that happen, I'm very proud of you and also very pleased for you because I know it's hard when you have these ideas and they're great, and the person that you are, that you want to put everything you have to it, and yet also understanding that something's going to suffer. And in the past, it's been you're the one that has paid the price for it, and that you are putting yourself first, right? And determining that, it's okay to do me. And actually, not only is it okay, but it's kind of good. It's good for everybody.
yeah. And, say no to a lot of things. Say no to, hey Draco, say no to a lot of things, and then making sure that when I do say yes, I really do mean my yeses. So not just people pleasing or saying yes because I feeling like it's going to get me somewhere, but really being there, being intentional with my yeses, and being very, very honest about my no's. It's okay to say no.
It's also okay that we have Draco on the line with us. So I know Sasha's trying to manage the mute button. If you hear a little voice, it's just her son. Don't worry about it. He can be part of our episode today because that is also real life. It's, it's what you have going on. So I'm just happy that we're here today because honestly, audience, you can imagine how hard it is for us to align schedules to get recordings done, and our producer Jesse as well. So anytime we can make it work, if there's interruptions, we know that you are going to extend us grace for that because this is real life. It's what we do. Yes. So I think you and I lived opposite lives this year because this was not my favorite summer, quite honestly. There was a lot of things I did not like at all about it. And finally in August, I decided just to have a pity party and just sit in my wallow for a while. I mean, I didn't have like an actual party, but definitely just allowed myself to be yucky and be okay being yucky and let other people know I'm yucky and it's okay that I'm yucky because, I am very much the positive person and all that stuff. But at some point you're just over it. And I was over it in August. And combined with that being a very slow month of the year for me business wise. So I had all this free time and no one to do anything with because everybody else is busy. So I have all this time to play and no one to play with. And people are like, oh, just go do it by yourself. I do everything by myself. To go play by myself is not, it's not fun to me. It's not interesting. So I just was like, fine, I'm just going to be bored, be irritated, be annoyed, be grumpy. And it's totally fine because I know it's also a very brief moment of my life because I know September is around the corner with all kinds of really amazing things coming. And I mean, if I had to look at August and September, they are night and day of each other. Like for all the things I hated about August, September is the exact opposite. And I loved every minute of it. So we talk about balance. That is balance, right? Balance doesn't always look beautiful every moment. It's yucky and then it's awesome. And that's kind of how it was. But yeah, I think just a number of reasons, obviously treatment, it's fine. Like, I don't think I'm having side effects, but that's also sort of an unknown yet because there have been a few weird things that the only thing different in my life is treatment, and yet my doctor's like, no, that's not that. If it was treatment, it would look like this. Like, okay. And yet I don't know. So kind of the unknown and just being annoyed of having to go in, but also like normally in August I would have all this downtime because business is slow, and I'd be like, oh, I'll just go sit by the pool and read a book. Well, when you have melanoma, you don't just go sit by the pool and read a book. And yet for some reason, sitting on my couch inside reading a book doesn't feel right. It feels weird, so I don't do it, right? So that's also been a little bit of like adjustment of my approach and my attitude about things. Like, okay, it's August. It's 94 degrees out. Do I really want to go sit outside by the pool? Why don't you sit in your lovely air conditioned, beautiful condominium on your comfortable couch and read a book? And so talking myself into some of those things has also been good, but different. And then, all this property that some of you probably are aware of. I think we might have talked about it briefly on the podcast, but just to give the quick background, I've had this property for 20 years. I lived in it for 10. When I moved to the one I live in now, I kept that one as a rental. It's an amazing rental, like awesome rental income. Never thought I would not have it. Always thought I would die with that property because it's an amazing rental property in downtown Denver. But with the way things are happening in Denver, for a variety of reasons, I feel like it's just time to get out. And so when I discovered what this last tenant left me with, which you think of the worst show on TV you've seen, it's that, and maybe worse. I've thought, you know what? This is the universe telling me it's time to get out. So went through lots of work and money, almost $40,000 of my own money to fix what he destroyed and then make it very nice to sell. Decided I was going to sell. And it didn't sell. And I was like, okay, universe is telling me it's not time to get out. Fine, it's fine. I mean, trust me, the income I'm getting from a landlord, amazing. So it's a win-win. But I had already decided, okay, I'm letting go. This is good. It's time to move on. Well, universe is like, no, it's not. So I'm like, okay, we'll go back to being a rental. So I was getting ready to go to the Galapagos and Ecuador with my sister, which is one of the highlights of the summer. Trust me, there have been many, and that is one, and I'll get to some of the others. And I had a bunch of people lined up to show for rentals when I got back. And then the day after I got back, my realtor called, and he's like, so I saw it's on Zillow, which makes me think you have not yet signed a lease. I have a buyer, full offer, because I told him, don't come to me if it is not a full price. I don't need to sell it. Full price, boom, closed on it August 31st. That property is gone and sold and amazing. But along the way in this selling process, as there always is, there's all these irritations that were totally unnecessary. So that also kind of fed into my because it really could have been super duper simple. And it wasn't, because a few things that didn't need to happen based on what people did or didn't do. Anyway, end of story. It is sold. It is amazing to be free, literally physically free of that place. And what's funny about it, and this has happened with all of the other properties I've sold, once I sell it, I literally don't even remember it. It has not crossed my mind until we're talking this moment. That property has not crossed my mind in almost a month. So I have a very good way of letting go. When I am ready to be done with something, I am done, and I don't even think about it. And that is a really liberating feeling. And that was a big anchor, just knowing that I will never have to think about that property again. So that's one of the reasons September is way better than August. As far as the great things, the trip to Ecuador and the Galapagos was amazing with my sister for so many reasons. One, just to do amazing things with my sister at this point in our lives is just super special. And to go to a place that's, on a lot of people's bucket list, it was on ours, and to get to do it, and to do it the way we like to do it, we kind of get in cahoots with each other, especially when we're part of a group that we don't love all the group stuff, but we can figure out how to do some of it our own way and enjoy both as we kind of merge the two. And just some of the experiences that, definitely highlight reels and we will remember forever. And part of it was because I was sort of an invited, guest to this conference to get to speak at this international conference of planetary scientists. These people are astrophysicists, biochemists, astrobiologists, people from all over the world. And I got to do my permission to self-care seminar for the conference attendees. And that was really cool because it just validated everything I know. We're all the same. I don't care where in the universe you live. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your profession is. I don't care what your gender is, what your ethnicity is. We're all the same. We're all human. We are all struggling with the same things. They might look different at different phases, It's all the same. And so to have that validated, because that was the conversation that was taking place from people from 13 different countries in my room at various stages of their career, at various stages, of age, it's the things I've been hearing for 20 plus years. And so it just kind of reinforced my belief that everybody uh, can benefit from learning some tools and skills. And so I'm just going to continue to push and be passionate about it, and to kind of get to play in my sister's sandbox and to get to watch her like be the leader of her sandbox is pretty awesome, because she's pretty badass in what she does. And to watch and see the people, interact with her was just cool, because I don't usually get to see that. So that was definitely a highlight. Also went to Wisconsin in July for a week to finally see my parents' new house. They moved in March. So got to spend the week there and had a really great time with friends that came from, childhood and that. So July was great. August was like, meh. And now we're done and we're moving on. September is amazing. So I've been rambling and rambling. Tell me more about your life. What's going on?
Talk about a roller coaster, huh? I remember last year when we were doing this show and you had said something along the lines of like, you're on the top of your roller coaster and you know that it's going to be, ebb and flow, but right then and there you were enjoying the life on top, and then everything kind of just hit the fan and then you started going downhill. And I was like, man, I learned something to never say, hey, everything's going so amazing, because the moment everything's going amazing, that's when everything can drop.
But you know what? It's okay to say everything's going amazing. We should acknowledge that, because it's true. It's reality. Also, knowing that it isn't going to last forever, because anyone who thinks, oh, it's amazing, it's always going to be, well, you are living in a false reality. And then you're going to be really disappointed and upset. So, all these things that have gone on this year, I mean, I have to say, I think I've maintained a pretty good attitude through all of it. I didn't sink into any kind of bad habits. I mean, let me tell you, if this was the Michelle of 20 years ago and she went through an August that she went through, she would have spent probably every other day having her own little food fest. Oh, I'm bored and I'm sad and I'm lonely, and so let me go find some food to entertain me. That's how she would have handled this. That never even crossed my mind. Like, not once in any of this did that thought even enter my mind. And I thought about that about 3/4 of the way into the month. And I actually thought, well, maybe I should do that. I don't know. I mean, it was like this, like, oh my gosh, I just realized that that didn't even enter my brain. So, and I only say that because it shows how much growth I've done in the time, right? That yes, life is going to get hard. Anyone who thinks it's not, you are delusional. It is what you do when life gets hard that is going to determine your outcome. And so, your attitude, and I maintained a relatively healthy attitude through all the garbage, through all the nonsense. And I believe it. I mean, I'm not faking it. I believe all of that. And at some point, you do say, all right, universe, just like catch me a break. Like, I would reach out to 5 people. Hey, I have all day off. Can you play? And every one of them, no, 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 no. So you start to feel like nobody wants to come to my party. Right. And so then you're just like, fine, I give up, whatever. And that's kind of where I was. I feel like had there been those people who could fill in all my free time and we could play and be this amazing month of fun because I don't have work, I probably wouldn't have had the pity party, because there's fun things to do. It just so happened that that isn't the way it turned out this year, and it's totally fine.
Yeah, well, I think back just 3 months ago from today. It was June 27th. I was in my attorney's office 3 months ago, basically today, and how much my life has changed since then. Giving up all of control and just giving it over to God and just saying, your will be done. But, in June, I didn't know if my marriage would pull through. I didn't know what to anticipate. I didn't know if I was going to have to get a house on my own, or what the deal was. And so, just looking even 3 months ago, yeah, all the running was there. And obviously there's a reason why I couldn't listen to music, is so I could navigate and process all the things that we're going through. Like you said, the hard times, nothing lasts. Nothing, not the good times don't last, the hard times don't last, but what does last is you, right? And so in July, 1 month after I had visited the attorney, things just seemed to basically flip a switch for myself and my family. We went to Lake Okoboji with the kids. We went to Lake McConaughey with the kids. Draco and I went to Nashville, and there was maybe another trip. I mean, I went to Colorado with my girlfriends where I got to see you. I feel like there was one other trip there, but in the last 3 months, there's just been a lot of mourning and then a lot of celebration. Mourning of the life that I had, and then regaining that life, but then now not taking it for granted, right? And so I feel like this summer has been a lot of transition and a lot of pivotal moments for myself and my family. And my Cayenne, she's growing exponentially. The other day, 2 days ago, she looked at me and she goes, I can understand. That is a full sentence. And I just looked at her and I was like, okay, you can understand, and so she's starting to use her words more and more, expressing more and more. The kids are growing so fast, and it just, I find myself, I think last week, exactly a week ago, I came home crying just because I was like, am I doing too much, to the point where I am not doing enough for them, and then I took a bath and I cried and I went to bed and whatever, things are fine. But, looking back the last 3 months, these last 3 months of summer, it's just been high, low, high, low, high, high, low, high, low, high, low. But through all of it, I persevered, and it has just been a really cool and strengthening journey for me and for my family. And the one thing that I will say that I realized is just to really not take things for granted, not take Cayenne's words for granted, not take the ability to see my kids every single day, not take for granted my physical abilities. So it's been a very beautiful summer of, again, learning how to say yes, learning how to when to say no, and just being in the moment, headphones or not.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's just an important message for everybody, right? Is that is what life is. It's wins and losses. It's ups and downs. It's ebbs and flows. Sometimes they come more rapidly than others. Sometimes we pile on the wins and then we have a drought, right? Sometimes the universe is tossing loss after loss after loss and then it ceases, right? And I mean, that's it. You don't control those things, but you control what you do in the process. And I think to remember that nothing is permanent, not the good, not the bad, right? And yet, what is permanent is my skills, my capabilities, my attitude, my choices. Those are the things that we focus on. And I mean, I was so grateful to turn the page to September. Let me tell you, there's something, I don't know, very powerful about the symbolic thing of, flipping the calendar over. But truly, like, everything changed once that calendar turned. And knowing that for me, work picks up, and my work is very much a part of my passion. I don't feel useful when I'm not working because I don't have kids to, have use and purpose and need. My work is my purpose. And so when there is no work, not because I don't want to, but because people are not doing wellness in August, they're on vacation. It's just the way it is. But still, it shows you how important it is to have purpose in life. And so knowing that September picks up and lots of things in the pipeline for the future is very exciting. Also knowing that there was lots of amazing social stuff on the calendar. So went to Michigan, flew into Detroit. My mom has this Dutch conductor, Andre Rieu. She's been talking about him forever and ever. And we were supposed to go see him in Barcelona last spring, but various reasons that didn't happen. But hey, he's touring the US and he's in Detroit. So when people are like, oh my gosh, where are you going? I'm like, I mean, Detroit? It's like not really the answer they're expecting, but it isn't about where you're going. It's about who you're with and what you're doing. And just me, my mom, and my sister together. I mean, these moments are so fun and special. And it was perfect. Like, everything about the visit was perfect, and got, again, to go down to campus and experience some time, help my sister judge dance team competitions. She's the faculty advisor for the dance team. So I got to help her judge the tryouts. And it was just fun. And then I get home on, Saturday, and then you're here and I get to spend the whole day with you. And I mean, that was definitely a highlight of the month for sure, getting to see you in real life and go do our things. And, that was fantastic. And yeah, like here we are, the end of September already. And so it's wild.
I am somewhat worried and about my seasonal. I mean, every year I get affected a little bit more severe than the year before, or I shouldn't say severe, but a little bit more than the year before. But yeah, I am a little worried about the seasonal effectiveness, disorder that I experience. So going to have to put those things that make them priorities, making sure that I go outside, making sure that I get some movement in, eating well. I'm already nervous, and it's still nice outside, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's good that you're aware of that, and that you can do a lot to mitigate it and minimize it. If you don't have like an internal light, I suggest you get one. Those are actually very real and very helpful. So put that thing on as soon as you wake up and keep it on, when the sun is down, keep that thing on. And yeah, expose yourself to daylight as soon as you can and as much as you can. And I know that's hard to do because we get inside and we just get busy with our work, and then all of a sudden it's dark. So it does require more attention and intention. But I think the fact that you're super aware of it, and I think you're also in a very different place right now than you have been in the last couple of years. So I am confident that you're going to be fine. It's not fun. I mean, none of us, we all feel it. Believe me, we've all been talking about it here too. And yet it happens every year, right? So we know, okay, here's how I can manage it. Here's what I can do. I know what to expect. Same with me. Like, especially because for me, like generally my work, my obligated work is usually done early afternoon because nobody does corporate wellness in the evening. So it's dark. It's very easy to think, oh, it must be time for bed. No, Michelle, it's 6 o'clock. So years ago, I established a rule for myself that I will not be in my house until 7 p.m. So for me, I can go down to the club room, I can go to the gym, and even if I just foam roll and stretch, or maybe I'm going to do a leisurely walk on the treadmill while I watch my shows, or maybe I'm going to go sit in the sauna or sit in the hot tub, or I'm going to go check on a neighbor and we're going to hang out on our balconies and chat. What I'm not going to do is stay inside just because my work is done and it's dark, and because then your body just gets very off, and you really do start to lose the energy and the motivation to do things. So for me, it's super important to get out of my environment and go somewhere else to continue to stay up and alert and productive. So those, and I've learned that over the course of years, but it requires me to be intentional about doing that.
Yeah. And what about your travels? Tell me a little bit. I know I'm going to potentially meet you in Hawaii in December, which will be huge and super fun. But tell me, you have a bunch of travels coming up this year, right?
I do. Like the tail end of my year is often filled. So, September I went. So actually going in October, taking the train from Union Station in Denver over to the other side of the state, Grand Junction. I could drive it. It's a 4.5 hour drive. It's a 7 hour train ride. I just want to take the train because I don't like driving by myself. It's boring, and I can get things done when I'm taking the train. So a girlfriend of mine moved over there a couple years ago. And so I'm just going to do the train, visit a couple days, come back. And then my mom and sister are here. We have a Broadway show to go see. So they're here for a few days. Actually, our girlfriend is coming into town next weekend. So I have her for a few days. We're going to go play. And then November 19th to the 25th, I'm in Wisconsin for Thanksgiving. And then we're actually early in Hawaii this year. We're going to be in there December 13th to the 25th. I have to be home because I have treatment on the 26th. And then I'm going to go, I think, pretty sure, to Jacksonville to see my best childhood friend and her amazing family for a few days, and then come back on New Year's Day. So yeah, it's going to be full and fun, and I'm ready for it. And in the middle of all that is a really nice work schedule as well. So I do a lot of sessions on work-life balance and on balance in general. And I always think about balance in terms of gymnastics. And honestly, balance beam was my favorite event. There is nothing better about feeling balanced. Like you are standing on a 4-inch piece of wood, and you literally can do no wrong because you are so balanced. It feels amazing. You complete a trick up in the air and you land and you are solid and balanced. It is like the most incredible feeling. And I feel like, August, very imbalanced. Not enough work, too much time, not enough fun, too much time, right? All these things. May, very imbalanced, way too much work, way too much yucky universe things coming my way, not enough fun, not enough joy. So when you get to have the balance, like September, October, I think November, December are going to be, it is an amazing feeling, and you just soak it all in. And yes, when we connect in Hawaii, I mean, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm leaving for Hawaii 2 days after Project Intentional's big Shazam party. So we'll just have to hope and pray that it syncs up. It's for Andrew's work trip that they take. Pentair takes all of their pool persons, and this year it'll be at Hawaii. So it'll be a much needed balance for me for Hawaii.
Yes. We'll make it work. Either you can come to me for the day or I'll come to you for the day. It's not hard. So we'll make it work, because to not make that work would be a travesty. Yeah, we need to make that work. Let me just wrap up with just giving an update on treatment, because I know I haven't posted lately. I stopped posting the every time I did treatment because there's really nothing to tell. And I want to clarify a few things. And this is my belief on it. I think it's actually accurate, but even if it's not, this is how I see it. Number one, I don't have cancer, and that's the truth. I don't have cancer. I had cancer, it was removed, and I don't have cancer. So I'm actually not getting cancer treatment. Okay. Cancer treatment is if you have cancer and we are treating to either get rid of it or to hopefully stop it, halt it, so it doesn't progress. I don't have cancer because they removed it. Very lucky. We found it early enough. Removal at the site, the lymph nodes that had it, that's all there was. The PET scan showed no cancer in my body. You and I have the same amount of cancer, right? There's a theory that we all have cancer because we have all these precancerous things that want to turn into cancer. I don't have cancer. I'm not getting cancer treatment. Immunotherapy, which sometimes they interchangeably use the word chemotherapy, which irritates me because it's very confusing to people, because it's not chemotherapy, it's immunotherapy. It's a preventive treatment. So I'm basically in cancer recurrence prevention. If I had to label it, that's what I'm getting. So what does that entail? Well, it just entails me getting this cocktail of drugs that goes through and hopefully turns on my immune system to create targeted immune antibodies that kill any of these suspicious precancerous things that could eventually cause a problem, to reduce my risk of it recurring. So it's been every 3 weeks, and starting on Monday, the day this episode airs, I go to every 6 weeks. And what they do is they double the dose, because it is overall the amount of medicine over the course. So theoretically, it should be fine. Hopefully, I still will have no real side effects. The interesting thing is I get lab work done every time because they're looking at certain levels of certain things. And one of the things that she is seeing is my ferritin levels are dropping. So ferritin is one of your hormones that transports a lot of things. One of the things it transports is iron to your thyroid. We don't have like a baseline number from years ago because we never tested it, but she has seen my ferritin levels drop to basically a clinically deficient level, and she's concerned and she's not sure why that's happening. So we're doing a couple other tests to evaluate, to figure it out. Ultimately, it can be corrected. She just wants to know, why is this happening? So that'll be something that I think, as I continue to go through this, will be interesting. So I don't know. As somebody who is fascinated by the way the human body works, I have to say it is, I'm not happy at melanoma and I have to do all this, but it is kind of cool to get some of these other tests done that could tell me some things, and I can learn a little more and then educate people a little more on it. So that's something that probably in the next, next appointment or the one after that, maybe we'll figure out what that's all about. But I do wonder if that is contributing to some of the weird stuff I have going on. And so we'll see what happens with that. But, basically I've had no real effect. So it's not a big deal. And I know I said this in the beginning, it's not a big deal. And people came at me. It is a big deal. You have cancer. It's not a big deal to me. What I have is not a big deal to me. It's annoying, but it's not a big deal. So what I am also annoyed with, however, is that my dermatologist that I love is with a different practice. She moved to Oregon, so I have to see a new one, which is fine. She's also going to be fine, but to have to kind of hopefully you have the same rapport, but it's all fine. It's just the course of treatment, and you learn what you learn and you do what you do. And I've basically figured out how to still enjoy my outdoors with the way I can, but yeah, it's still a process. Hawaii will be very different this year for me than what it normally is. So I guess we'll see what that's like, but yeah, that's it. I think that's the summary. Let's wrap up with telling about Project Intentional. Just give the big preview, and then obviously we'll come and talk about it afterwards, but it's big. People should know about it.
So this year tickets will be available on the 11th of November. The tickets are free. We're adopting 1,500 caregivers. The primary demographic is single moms. The average household has 3 kids per 1 caregiver. So you're looking at about 6,000 people that will be impacting in Omaha this year. Each kid will get a pack of socks, a brand new toy. We did get a sponsorship for the hygiene bank, so we'll be giving out, yes, Draco, 3 products per family. Also caregiver gift. We already have 50 different nonprofits signed up for the event. It will be held at Baxter Arena, so it's going to be very different and very big and grandiose, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for it.
I mean, it's amazing. I don't know scale-wise, but it feels like it's 10 times the size of what it's been. Is that roughly?
It's 2.3 times the size of what it was last year.
Okay. 2.3, not 10, but still. It's huge. Baxter Arena, that's got to be like our Blaisdell Center or something like that. Blaisdell Center, my gosh, that's Hawaii. It's got to be like Ball Arena here is my guess in Denver. So it's amazing. And I'm so proud of you and happy for you, because I know this is incredibly important to you. So I'll be watching and getting excited to celebrate that with you as well. Well, everybody, I know this was a lot of us just kind of babbling to each other, and that's what we get to do. So hopefully we were entertaining, or you found something interesting. And if not, totally understand. We love you anyway. Hope you love us anyway. Yeah, just wanted to catch everyone up, because sometimes we do get people asking, what's the update? So we thought we would give one. We got lots of great episodes here to round out the rest of the year. So I know you'll continue to listen. We so appreciate your support. If you like our podcast, I hope you're sharing it with people. And if you have ideas for topics or guests, please let us know, because the plan is to continue next year. So we're always looking for new and interesting things to talk about and people to talk to. So anyway, that is all that we have from here. Thank you again, everybody. Now you get to go and be a better being.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. Michelle and Sasha hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you enjoyed the content, please help spread their message by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.